Yeah. And it's fitting that we meet here in December at Grayson's Tavern for this historic occasion. While the Commonwealth of Kentucky was officially born just a few yards away in the courthouse in 1792, the real business of Kentucky statehood took place here in Grayson's Tavern over a period of 7 years. Business over the tavern. Not much has changed, even in Frankfort today, in the state capital. And this is yet another historic day for Constitution Square in a long and storied past. Let me share just a little bit of that with you. In 1784, the town of Danville was laid out by Walker Daniel, who was the first United States District Attorney for the Kentucky District of Virginia, the federal court that was based here. It included this public square. And the first Constitutional Convention was called by Colonel Benjamin Logan that same year, in December, December 27th, 1784, as a matter of fact. The first of 10 Constitutional Conventions that took place right here on Constitution Square. On December 4th, 1787, the General Assembly of Virginia was wise enough to incorporate the city of Danville in what was then Lincoln County, Virginia. And on June 1st, 1792, after the conclusion of the 10th Constitutional Convention, the successful Constitutional Convention here at Constitution Square, the United States Congress accepted that Constitution, making Kentucky the 15th state of the Union. And then flash forward to 1937, when the Constitutional Square State Historic Site was adopted into the state park system. And to today, this historic day in 2011, also in December, we take a historic step as we celebrate the county's agreement for its portion of all the necessary documentation for the transfer of the park to the ownership of the Boyle County Fiscal Court, and is destined to become the headquarters of the Danville-Boyle County EDP. Without reservation, I want to introduce our partner in that effort, our partner and leader who had a vision of doing this when the opportunity was afforded to us, and that is our own County Judge Executive Harold McKinney, who will welcome the rest of our special guests after his comments.
Thank you. Feel free to applaud as long and as loud as you want. We're going to take some actions that are going to link the past with the present. Jody, you laid out what has happened in the past very well. I trust that as the years go by, you and I will be laying out what happens in the future here, along with all of those people who will support this. I was thinking this morning as I was preparing my extended remarks that what transpired here, and guess what they did with no cell phones, no Twitter, no nothing, just a quill pen and whatever they wrote on it at that time. And we had emails flying back and forth, and we were doing all the texting, and I thought, how much more difficult was it to achieve what was achieved then than it is now when they didn't have that sort of communication? And we need to remember that. But this is, I think, an historic day in the life of our county, and I am pleased to be standing here today and with the support of a lot of folks in the county. I want to recognize some people to start with, and some of them are going to say a few words in a few minutes. Betsy Dexter with Ben Chandler's office is here. Betsy, we're glad to have you. I know Congressman Chandler is introducing some Kentucky common sense into Congress right now. We hope he introduces a large dose of it. And I would appreciate that. We have Matt Sawyer here is the Deputy Secretary of the Tourism, Arts, and Heritage Council. This is Matt right here. Thank you, Matt, for your great efforts. And I know you're going to say a few words in just a minute. Mr. Dexter is not here. Let me see who all I have here. Steve Brooks, Kentucky Deputy Commissioner of Parks. Steve is here. Thank you, and thank you for your efforts. I know you're in transition there, and I appreciate you taking the time to be here today. We also have Gil Lawson here, who is Gil is somewhere, and Gil and I kind of worked together a long time ago. He's the publicity guy with the Tourism, Arts, and Heritage Cabinet, and we're glad to have him here. We have some local people that I want to acknowledge. First off, nothing gets done in this county by the fiscal court without the fiscal court members, and I recommend them to you as people who are farsighted and generally smart enough to do what I tell them to do. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. This levity. They are farsighted, but I want to recognize Phil Sammons is here. He's one of our magistrates. Jack Hendricks. This is hard. Y'all have your nameplate in front of you. So yeah. Jack Hendricks is here. Patty Burke is here. Donnie Kaufman, my biggest supporter, is here, and Dickie Mays is here, and I believe all those magistrates are here, and they had the foresight to say this is a good thing, let's get it done, and without all the questions answered. And I wish you all would just give them a hand. I'm going to introduce them. We are lucky to have them. We have the Mayor of Danville here. We're glad to have you, Mayor.
Thank you.
And we have Ryan Montgomery is here, one of our commissioners here in the city. Now, I don't think I have missed anybody that's important except Charlie Perry. Now, Charlie, you often tell me I've got a face made for radio, so get my best side. We have also here Trilly Bottom, who is the county clerk, and walked down here with Trilly, and she told me what to say and what not to say. So if it's wrong, blame it on her.
Make us proud.
Hard to do. Okay. I do want to have some folks come up and make some comments. I'm going to start with Betsy Dexter. I think you have something from Congressman Chandler.
I do.
Don't mess my papers up there.
I won't touch. I have a note here from Congressman Chandler that he sent this morning. Thank you for the invitation to be here, and I regret that I cannot join you today for this special ceremony. Constitution Square State Historic Site is such an important landmark here in Boyle County, and I'm very happy that $500,000 in federal funding will be used to renovate the park. Constitution Square Park is the birthplace of Kentucky's statehood. In 1785, Danville was chosen as Kentucky's first seat of government, and it was here in this square that a group of citizens sat down to write the document that would become the Constitution of Kentucky. This history is precious not only to Boyle County, but to the whole state, and the funding announced here today will ensure that history is preserved for future generations. I have always believed that preserving our historical treasures needs to be a priority. Even during these hard economic times, we can't afford to neglect the importance of our past. It is our job to make this history accessible to the public, especially to our young people. By renovating Constitution Square Park, we're both protecting a beautiful outdoor space in downtown Danville and ensuring one of Kentucky's most historic sites will be around for decades to come. Federal assistance can do so much good for Kentucky. By using federal resources, we can ensure that the 6th District receives the money it needs to perform important renovations like this one. I'm proud to say that this is exactly what officials in Boyle County have done, and I thank you for working to improve Central Kentucky. I think every resident of Boyle County can agree that we appreciate your work in bettering this community.
Thank you. I think we are going to have some remarks. Unfortunately, the Secretary of the Tourism, Arts, and Heritage Council, or Cabinet, I'm sorry, could not be here, but I think you're going to have some remarks. Sure. And Matt, would you?
Yeah.
Okay. Matt, sorry.
All right. Thank you, Judge McKinney. Thanks, everybody, for coming out today. Betsy, if we had known Congressman Chandler was going to give us a $500,000 grant, we might not be here. In all seriousness, no, though, we will we'll present you a list later of the other parts. We would not be doing this did it not present a historic opportunity for Danville, Boyle County. You know, on behalf of Tourism, Arts, and Heritage Cabinet Secretary Marquita Sparrow, the Governor, and the Commonwealth of Kentucky, this does obviously represent a historic day in the history of this site. And this would not be something that we would be entering into were it not that we had so much faith and confidence in the partnership that we have with Danville, Boyle County, your all's progressive leadership, your fiscal court here, leadership of Judge McKinney, Jody, Adam Johnson, and everybody else. And I think this, if you look at where this site exists in relationship to Danville, Boyle County, how centrally located it is, the asset that it can be for your community, it makes absolute sense for it to have greater local control. And then there are some things that we're doing as part of our agreement that's setting up continued efforts with the Kentucky Heritage Council to make sure that all of our historic preservation easements are closely watched, or preservation efforts, which you all, we full faith and confidence those will happen. So this will continue to be a historic site for all Kentuckians to come and enjoy. It just will now be better positioned to be more of an asset for Danville and Boyle County locally, and we think that's the way it should be. And this is a great opportunity, and really proud and happy to be here to celebrate it. Thank you.
Thank you. We also have Steve Brooks, Deputy Commissioner of Parks, and I guess you're the acting director right now. Parks, you want to say a few words, sir, please?
Well, we're very excited about this partnership. There is a lot of history here, and Matt said all the good things. And this is what government's all about. Partnering like this, and this will preserve this forever, which it needs to be. Tell you a little bit about my history here. My wife graduated from Center. We spent a lot of afternoons out here because that's the only place we could afford to go. But I used to drive Happy Chandler, and I spent a few afternoons out here on this, and I got all the history. I'm not sure it was all accurate, but the thrill of my life. But we are very excited to get into this partnership with you all, and I applaud you all for having the courage and the foresight to do this. And it's just going to be a wonderful thing, and this is a great, great day for Danville and Bolton County.
Thank you very much. When we set this up, I envisioned a signing, you know, where you take 25 pins and you save a little piece and everybody gets a pin. The pins didn't get here, so we're not doing the signing today. But on the authority of my fiscal court, I have signed my part of the deed of conveyance, which I'm going to present to you. And I know it will have to wend its way through certain channels, and there'll be other signatures and lawyers, and you know how they mess things up, and they'll have to do all that. So I'm going to give you that.
Thank you very much.
You can have it. I have here for the Historic Preservation and Conservation Easement. I got to tell you a little story about this. It was one of those burning hot July afternoons, and I walked in. They said, "I've got your Historic Preservation and Conservation Easement." And I said, "Well, how long is it?" They said 27 pages, and I went into meltdown. But I went home and I had a glass of lemonade, and I read it, and I had another glass of lemonade, and I read it again, and finally I have signed it. Now, is there anybody here? I'm missing somebody from the
Secretary Sawyer's also.
Yeah, we're representing the Heritage
I didn't know if he had somebody. This has been signed
Great.
on the authority that the fiscal court gave me to sign it, and that is the easement that guarantees this is carried forward in the way that it should be preserved, and that we will do what we need to do. And I'm happy to present that to you. Again, I'm very honored. I don't mean with the levy to lessen the importance of what I think this is today. I think it's incredibly important. I think we will be the showplace, won't we, Joe?
That's what we intend to do.
Of Kentucky and what we do with our EDP. This will be our EDP campus, and I understand it's going to be hot for Wi-Fi and all those important things that people think are important. I look forward to a long career or long association between the county and you guys. I want to personally thank my magistrates who are here, and you can see the support they have. I think we only have one who couldn't get here today. I want to thank you all for being having the foresight. And Jody, I'm going to turn it back over to you for some concluding remarks. And I want to personally thank you for your efforts. No matter what else has gone forward, this will not happen.
Well, thank you, Judge, and we will return Constitution Square to be the center of commerce for Danville once again after 200 years, and I think that is certainly apropos for its use. Before I close, I want to introduce and thank my executive team. As you know, the partnership is a big family in this community, and Paula Fowler is our Executive Director of the Chamber of Commerce. Julie Wagner is the Executive Director of the Heart of Danville Main Street Program. Vicki Good is the Executive Director of the Main Street Parable Program. And Adam Johnson, where are you, Adam? Is Executive Director of our Convention and Visitors Bureau, in addition to the Industrial Foundation, for which I also serve as President. And we have so many board members from the partner boards here today. Just please raise your hand so that we can recognize you, because you're a part of this partnership as well. Don, Alan, show yourselves. Jerry, don't be bashful. Thank you very, very much. As well as the great staff and team that we have at the partnership. Thank you very much for being here today, and Merry Christmas with best wishes for a prosperous new year for all of us in Danville, Bolton County. Thank you.